of Indigenous life. Check out our headline news service to learn more. Tune in here for National Native News.
Weekdays at 5:55 on KSJE Farmington. San Juan County, we need you. This is Scott Micklin. As a longtime resident and advocate for our community, it's so important to fill out the 2020 census. So all of us here in San Juan County can be counted because we do count. Take 10 minutes and fill it out today, and tell your neighbor too, so we can get our fair share of funding for our health, our education, and things as simple as our roads and bridges. As the deadline is nearing, make sure you get counted and benefit our wonderful San Juan County. Complete the census when you receive your invitation or visit 2020census.gov.
Hello everyone, my name is Mick Hess, your host for Roving with the Arts here on KSJE 90.9. Please join me every weekday starting at 9 a.m. for the chance to hear full-length, unabridged opera, ballet, symphonic, and chamber music. I'll share news of local concert events that you may be interested in attending, background information about some of the greatest musical compositions ever written. Tune in weekdays 9 to 10 a.m. and Wednesday from 9 to 10:30.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them. Whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury, San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. "11 minutes past 8 o'clock, Thursday morning, September 17th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Micklin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, New Mexico, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and of course streaming everywhere from our website at ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are watching this visual radio program. We're streaming it live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. We're glad that you are with us watching together this morning, so thank you for being along. Coming up this morning, my guest today, Arvin Trujillo, is going to be with us from the Four Corners Economic Development, of course. Also, Nancy Shepard will be joining us. She is working with Forset on business retention and expansion, and that's our focus this morning, talking about what local businesses need and more. So stay tuned for that conversation beginning in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Later on this hour, we'll also be getting an update about the Four Corners Wolf Dog Rescue Program. They are having a grand reopening this weekend, moving into some bigger spaces for their store, and also their rescue sanctuary is moving into some larger property as well. So we'll talk more about that later on this hour, 8:50 a.m. with Carol Sanchez on KSJE. So stay tuned for that. Next hour, of course, 9 o'clock, it's our local community information program about COVID-19. Megan Cullip will be joining me here in the co-host seat in Studio A. We have no less than 4 guests on the program today, so quite a lot of information to share with you this morning, beginning at 9 a.m., streaming live to YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, you can listen to the program this afternoon at 5:06 p.m. on KSJE Radio. You can also hear it at noon today on our partner radio station, KNMI. That's Vertical Radio 88.9 FM in Farmington and San Juan County. Our guests scheduled to appear on the program today, Ginger Palmer from the San Juan Medical Foundation, Andrea Pena from the Child Haven Foundation, and our doctors from San Juan Regional Medical Center, Dr. Aaron Philpott and Dr. Brad Greenberg. So a packed program coming your way this morning at 9 a.m. on KSJE about COVID-19. On the radio side of things at 9, Mick Hess is taking us roving with the arts, and this morning Mick is featuring music from Beethoven, his piano concerto number 3, played by Alice Sarah Ott. So you'll be hearing that this morning on the radio at 9 on KSJE. Don't forget, of course, you can also connect with us on Twitter and on Instagram in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And let's talk about the weather briefly. It's going to be mostly sunny skies for the next several days. 85 in Farmington today, clear and 53 overnight, sunny and 86 tomorrow. So maybe some increasing clouds on Friday night with a low near 60. 84 and sunny on Saturday and Sunday with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. And then maybe a chance of showers again with some increasing clouds early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, highs still in the lower 80s and overnight lows in the mid to lower 50s. Well, let me introduce my guests who are with us this morning, again by Zoom from Four Corners Economic Development. CEO Arvin Trujillo is joining us from his office here in Farmington. Arvin, good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Good to have you here.
Good morning, Scott.
Great to see you. Also joining us this morning, Nancy Shepard is here as well. She is working with Forced on their business retention and expansion program. Nancy Shepard, always great to see you. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks, Scott. We appreciate you having us.
You bet. You bet. Great to see both of you. Arvin Trujillo, let me start with you then about this BRE program, Business Retention and Expansion. This is part of some of the groups that you have formed at Forced and goals to put these things together and put some things into place, correct?
That's correct, Scott. We've got 5 goal teams that are focused on 5 strategic goals within Forced through our strategic planning efforts. And the first team is a partnership team, but they've taken on the business retention and expansion project that we are currently involved in right now. And what I'd like to do, Scott, is kind of turn it over to Nancy for a little bit, give a real quick history, how we got here and what we're trying to do, and kind of give a little bit of background, because again, this is important to our local businesses, and we're really wanting to make sure that we do a really good job on doing this, because this will help us in developing a strategy as well as a process as to how we may be able to better assist our businesses and local industries in the near future here.
You bet. Well, let's do that, Nancy Shepard. I know she is standing by, and talk to me a little bit about this whole concept and when it got started. I imagine this effort predates the COVID-19 pandemic.
It does. We talked about it shortly before that. Actually, Four Corners Economic Development did the same type of initiative a number of years ago, but it was a slightly different model. So what happened was we took a course. There were 5 of us that took a course from the University of Minnesota. And I always say that I'm amazed by the economic development efforts in Minnesota. They seem to be very well networked, connected, a lot of stuff, good information and good work coming out of Minnesota. So this program has been around for 20 years at the University of Minnesota. It was an 8-week program. As I said, 5 of us took it. And so we have learned a lot from that. And in what the basic premise is, there are a couple of models. You can do it either continuous, which means you would visit businesses maybe a couple a week, and then the next week you might visit another couple, and so then over the year maybe you visited 75 to 100 businesses. The model that we're using is one that's more like Arvin says, the volunteer type of model. So it's much more intense and much shorter period of time, and so that period of time for the interviews, at least, is October and maybe into November.
I see. And so the idea then, Nancy, is that you're going to be looking to get information back from these businesses about what their challenges are, what their needs are?
Yes, for sure. So there's a set of questions. We have what we call ambassadors, who are our volunteers. We train those ambassadors in how to administer the survey. It's pretty lengthy. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes. We've done a couple of initial ones just to see what it's like. And it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to get through the questions, but they're good questions. They are beneficial ones that will give us the information that we need to come from businesses. So we have the volunteers who are involved. I would guess that we'll have about 40 of those when we get done, and we'll have also about 100 businesses that we interview. That's our goal, and it's all over San County. It's not just Farmington. It's every town.
Got it. And all sizes too, I would assume, Nancy Shepard? You're looking at maybe large businesses and small businesses alike to get this information?
Right. So, maybe not so much the one-person businesses,
Sure.
because they aren't quite as indicative of what we're looking for, but we definitely will have a real sampling of that. And so, yeah, Arvin might talk about some of the work that we've done to gather the ambassadors.
Sure. Arvin, let me turn back to you a little bit and talk to me a little bit about this. And this whole idea of business retention and expansion, this is kind of a proven economic development strategy, is it not? In addition to maybe trying to attract new businesses, which is kind of few and far between, especially these days, the way to create new jobs and new opportunities is to maybe help the businesses who are already in a community, in a region, to prosper and expand and stay in business, rather than trying to attract maybe new businesses that may not always be happening. Does that make any sense?
No, that makes a perfect sense.
It was a long, rambling question, so I'm glad it does. But yeah.
But what we're looking at is exactly that, Scott. We have businesses now that are in place. They've been operating. They have in some cases they have a good, credible business in place. They've got things moving. But now it's looking at, one, how do you retain your employees that you have right now? How do you retain the business as it is right now? And once you've got that stabilized, then how can you build your business? How can you expand your efforts and see growth within your business? And the studies that we've seen have showed that it's much easier to work with existing businesses and help them to expand and to stabilize their business or their operation, instead of trying to go out and recruit businesses to come in. And really, in essence, also, as you begin to develop the current businesses you have, that also begins to develop your service area. So different industries or other businesses who may wish to locate into the area, you have other support operations already in place to help supplement either supplies or goods or actually services that these new operations would want. And so again, it adds to the appeal of recruiting other businesses or other industries into a region here. And so again, we're looking at this, and I know people are surveyed out, but we're looking to really have a connection with our local businesses and gather the information that we feel that is important and that we've learned from the training that we've taken. And again, these are not really theoretical exercises, because as Nancy indicated, Minnesota has been doing this the University of Minnesota has been doing this for 20 years. The state there has really been focusing on this effort. And they've seen a lot of good positive results because of their efforts there. And so we're taking that learning and bringing it here, and we're wanting to utilize that to begin to determine how do we want to do this, what kind of information should we be asking for, and then how do we compile and how do we analyze that information, and in order to develop strategies, develop ways that we can better assist our businesses, and look at how we can help enhance the business environment here in San Juan County and ultimately in the Four Corners region.
Got it. Very interesting. And Nancy Shepard, talk to me a little bit about the pandemic and COVID-19. Does this complicate things a little bit? Our business owners, we know they have unique sets of challenges because of COVID-19. Is it maybe harder for them to maybe look longer term as to what they would need beyond the pandemic to answer some of your questions?
It certainly, obviously, does complicate things. It makes things different. I think the questions are good ones that really make people start thinking about exactly what you said, looking into the future, when maybe they might not have done that quite as much because things are so different. So we will be doing, just to let you know, we will be doing some interviews virtually,
right,
and some interviews face-to-face. So we have two different options there. But when we get there and we talk with people, some of the questions we ask them about, how many people, how many employees do you have? Are you thinking of adding employees or decreasing employees? Are you thinking of how's your business? What are your products? Are you thinking of adding product lines? Lots of different questions that cause people to think about the future beyond COVID-19. And so we're just plowing ahead. And some things we say, well, before COVID-19, what was your experience? Because this isn't exactly what's happening now, hopefully, isn't exactly characteristic of what may happen in the future. So I think, the interviews have been, the few that we've done have been very positive. And I think we came out of those with some great responses, and people were appreciative of what we are doing. So I might mention, some of the benefits of this. There are benefits. Obviously, you wouldn't do something this massive without having benefits. So the networking benefit, bringing businesses in and letting them know, that Four Corners Economic Development and these people, these ambassadors that come out, care about what's going on in their business, really listening to them when you ask the questions, and looking for things that Four Corners Economic Development can do for those businesses. And sometimes it's not ForCed doing things directly. It's us doing things indirectly, or supplying resources or connecting people. I think Arvin talks all the time about the partnerships, and I think he's done a really good job of building partnerships in amongst many different entities. And so that's what's important, and the benefit to the people to get some resources. So everybody gets a copy of their report when it's done, and so that's a benefit to them. They know we care, and hopefully we want some priority projects to come out of this, and that these people that we interview will benefit from those projects.
Right, and from the training that you attended and the others, were there some things that then that region, that state put into play to help these businesses that might also work here, or does it really depend on what your answers are from these interviews you're going to be doing?
You're going to see some similar things. I mean, a lot of people have similar, possible difficulty in hiring skilled employees, possible difficulty in getting funding from banks. I mean, you're going to see some similarities, but obviously they are different. But the priority projects that come out of this will be things that are specific to this area. And again, not just to Farmington, but also to Kirtland, to Shiprock. I mean, there'll be things that apply to all of the areas.
Good to know. And I would imagine that's something of a challenge too, because depending on maybe where a business is located, they may have unique challenges compared to another business who may be on a busy thoroughfare or something else. And if I'm off the beaten path a little bit, that may be a distinct, unique problem or challenge for me to overcome if I'm trying to attract new customers or transportation issues or shipping or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Lots of different things, interesting things. I think we're learning a lot about the businesses that we've interviewed so far ourselves, and that only strengthens, the whole effort in the county. And everybody's business is unique, but everybody's business has some similarities, and I think we can play on those similarities. We can address the things that are problems among different businesses, and look at some of the important things to work on.
Sure. You mentioned this is going to be relatively a quick turnaround with some of the interviews that you're doing. Is there a timeline that you have in mind, Nancy Shepard, to move all this forward?
Well, we have a timeline, and it's ambitious. The people in Minnesota said, don't know if you can do it that fast, but we're going to try. So our timeline to get the surveys, the interviews done, is starting October 1st and hopefully going no later than November 15th. So we have a whole chart of what the dates are, and we are ambitious. Things may be pushed back a little at times, but we have things like Monday we have a training for the ambassadors so that they know how to do the survey, how they know how to administer the interview questions. And then after that, we start gathering the information, interviewing the businesses. Then we take that information, put it into a database, and then have it analyzed as to trends. We come together as a group, and some of the ambassadors, some of the board members, some of the people who are directly have been involved in it, we come together as a group, and then we list lots of priority projects, and then we decide on the priority projects. So all of that hopefully will be done by maybe end of January, or into February a little bit, and then we would start at that point on the priority projects. And those things, some of them will be short, some of them will be longer to take. Arvin might talk about the red flag issue, because that's something that's a little different and kind of interesting.
Okay, Arvin, Trujillo, let's turn back to you a little bit to talk a little bit about this red flag issue that Nancy Shepard just brought up. What's that all about?
Well, when we go through the interview process, as Nancy indicated, we have a number of questions we ask. And one thing I'd like to share with those that are listening, and I would ask that, if you're interested in participating, we would very much like to have you included in this effort. But some of the questions do ask some very personal or touch personal areas within the business.
I see.
And again, we share with everybody that everything is confidential. We're not going to be going out and sharing that information with other people. And when we compile the information, it'll be put together as a group, so there's no designation as to which business said what. And so again, that helps in us gathering some real data that we need. And we also have allowed businesses to simply state to us, if there's a question there that they don't want to answer, then they just tell us, well, I don't feel comfortable answering that, or I don't think I need to answer that, and we just move on. And so again, it's not anything that we're going to be pressuring anybody in, but again, it's data gathering. Now, the red flag piece, as I indicated, as we go into these discussions and we listen to businesses, we hear different concerns and different challenges they may have. And in some cases, there are some things that come up that we can really take hold of and see we can mitigate those situations on a very short time frame. And so we tag those issues, and then we'll go back to a business and we'll talk to them about that. We'll look at resources and we'll give them some suggestions on, during the interview, this is what you said, this was a concern, or this is where you saw a challenge. Here are some resources that you might want to take a look at that could help you in those areas. It might be areas in training, it may be areas in distribution, it may be areas in getting service-related organizations to partner with them. So again, we have some of that knowledge, and so again, as we listen, we note these things that we may be able to mitigate on a very short time frame. And so again, we call those red flag issues. And so we'll go back and talk to the business and share with them what we think, or share with them what there are possibilities of doing. And then from there, we leave it to them to make a decision. Would they like us to pursue that? We're more than willing to continue and help them assisting them with their efforts there with their businesses. So that's what the red flag piece is all about. And again, this builds the camaraderie here within the county. And Scott, because of the way we've situated different goals and different opportunities, a lot of our communities have gotten into that idea of being competitive with one another. Now, competition can be real positive, but in some cases, it tends to negate our efforts to get certain services here in the region. And so what we're beginning to find too is that as we get our ambassadors working with these businesses, everybody begins to become educated on what these other businesses are doing. People start seeing some common ground between their businesses or their industries. And so again, we start building that aspect that we're all in this together. We start building those partnerships, and we start building those opportunities to really find some common ground from which we can really work on to really, again, the ultimate goal here is to really stabilize our business environment here and to improve and to enhance our business environment, and most importantly, to diversify our business environment. And so that's what we're trying to do here.
Right. And more jobs wouldn't be bad either, I suppose, too, as this all happens. That's just a byproduct of what you're talking about, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's how we would measure our efforts is how many jobs are coming into the region. And that's a important metric. And in our training, that's always been one of the top metrics. They look at all the relationships and all of that development that has to happen in order for a community to reach a point to where they are then getting a good message out. They're all working together. And again, that measurement, as you indicated, is how many jobs are coming into a region.
Very good. Well, both of you, thank you for joining me this morning to talk about this exciting project. Nancy Shepard, good luck to you and your team that is going out to do these interviews, and we'll look forward to maybe getting an update a little bit later on to see how things went. And Arvin Trujillo, always appreciate you joining me to talk about your efforts with Four Corners Economic Development. Thank you both very much.
Thanks,
and again, Scott, you can people can come to our website, www.4cornersed.com. My contact information is there. If there are businesses or even if there are individuals who are interested in being a part of this project, being an interviewer, being an ambassador, or having your business be a part of this survey, please contact us. We will get you in contact with the right people so that we can get training or get your business on the list. So we'll be able to call you and have some folks come and just spend an hour and talk with you.
There you go. And the information, as you mentioned, is confidential with these teams that are going out. So, Arvin, thank you very much. Good to talk to you.
You bet. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you both. Nancy Shepard as well. You're both very welcome, my guests here on KSJE. And we want to talk briefly with Jamie Church, who is on the phone this morning to talk a bit about an event that is happening in conjunction with the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Of course, Jamie is the president and CEO. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Absolutely. Thanks for giving me a few minutes here to talk about this. It's great.
You bet. You have an event going on, a Facebook Live event, because everything lives virtually these days.
Yes.
What's happening this afternoon?
Okay, so at 4 o'clock today, we are doing a Facebook Live event specifically to provide information, updates, resources, websites that have to do with education. We have 4 panelists, one representative from the Farmington Municipal Schools, Maria Rodman, who is the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Farmington. And let's see, we also have Barbara Tedrow, who's very much involved with early childhood education, and then Sandra Houston, who's an educational consultant and program coordinator. And so we know that schools is at the top of many people's minds right now. Even if you don't have school-age children, you might be an employer who is dealing with employees who are, their schedule has just been completely turned upside down because they're having to be, schooling their children or attending Zoom meetings with teachers. So we thought that this would be a great resource. So this is one of our connecting commerce to community activities that we do. So the way to tune into this is just, if you are on Facebook, just like our Farmington Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. At 4 o'clock, you'll receive a notification that we're going live. All you have to do then is click there when you see the going live, click on that notification, and then the live event will start. And then if you have comments or questions, you can type those in. We'll have somebody watching the computer, the Facebook feed. And so if you have a question, we'll be able to address it right then with those panelists. So.
Very good. And this is starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and
4
it's
o'clock, yeah.
scheduled for about an hour.
Correct.
And
Correct.
and again, you've got some great guests lined up. Again, talking about childcare and education and all the things that are going on in this region. It's not necessarily a statewide discussion.
Yes.
It's really focused on the northwest corner of the state.
Correct. And we know that there was a lot of, well, there was a delay in getting back to school. Originally, it was supposed to happen right after Labor Day, then it got delayed. I think there's been a lot of talk about that, confusion, frustration, and so we will be addressing that, why there was the delay, and then what the update is to get back in-person school, whether it's a hybrid model or what the different options are. So we just want to give this opportunity for these people that are within education, that's their field and their focus, to have some time to address some of these things. And then also what could go on for, what's going on with the Boys and Girls Club as far as care for children whose parents are working, what's going on with early childhood education, what's available for child care, and just to, again, try to get some information out there that's coming right from the source. And that helps, I think, everybody know, okay, well, this is the plan, and maybe will help to make it a little bit easier as we get through the rest of September and then go into October.
Very good. Well, I know folks do have a lot of questions, and so thank you for putting this together and offering this to the community. Again, this afternoon, 4 o'clock, you have to like the Farmington Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, and then you'll get notified, and it's a Facebook Live event just like any other Zoom event or Skype or anything else. It's on Facebook, so it's available to everybody.
Right, and if you can't tune in at 4, if for some reason you're working or driving or whatever, you can watch it again, even though it won't be live. We will keep reposting it, and so you will be able to watch it, and you can always then contact us, or if you have a question after watching it, and we will try to get the answer for you. So just if you miss the live event, that's okay. We will have it on our Facebook page, and you'll be able to continue to be able to access it. So that's the nice thing about Facebook Live. It's not just live and then you never get it, you never see it again.
Right.
You can keep sharing it. So, but we do hope people will tune in and that they will ask questions, because that's why we're doing this, is just to try to help get the information out there, not just to our chamber members, but to everybody in the community that wants to know about this. We know we have grandparents that are taking care of and doing school with the grandkids right now because the parents are working, and we know this is involving a lot of family members, even if they don't have their own children in school right now. So
good to know, and thank you again for putting this together. No, I appreciate it, and thanks for calling in for a brief update.
You bet. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for having me on, Scott.
You bet. Thank you. That's Jamie Church, of course, from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, about their event going on this afternoon on the Chamber's Facebook page. And this is KSJE. I'll be back with more in just a moment, everybody. The time right now is 8:42.
I'm Chevelle Shepard, winner of The Voice, and I'm proud to be from San Juan County. Your voice matters in the 2020 census. We need funding for schools, nonprofits, and other critical programs, and we get proper funding if everybody's counted. It takes about 10 minutes to complete, so let's get counted. Deadline's near, and together we can make a difference. Visit